rolling. We are live or something.
Maybe. We'll see. Wouldn't that really stink to do a whole podcast and then it doesn't even record it?
Hadn't we done that?
Yes, we've totally done that.
On several occasions, right?
Not several. Just
once?
Few or
We've only done
once
that
or twice, maybe.
Okay, I thought we'd done it more than once.
Maybe. I don't know how many times we've done it. Doesn't matter. We'll probably do it again. You know what I should get? I should get like a huge mirror back there so that I can monitor the...
You would be distracted.
Looking in the mirror all the time?
Mm-hmm. Well, and trying to see what the phone was looking like.
Oh, but it would look like I was looking into the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of looking at the iPad all the time. Mm-hmm. Anyway, good morning.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
What'd you have for breakfast?
A chocolate Pop-Tart.
Delicious. I haven't had breakfast yet. I know, it's running around like crazy.
Girl.
Trying to get Tex to Vacation Bible School.
Well, did you get him there?
I did. I got him there just in time.
Has he learned anything?
Probably not. Just kidding. Today he wanted to wear his Bass Pro hat and his racing goggles.
Shoot.
And he wore them into the room. And then when he got to his class, he handed me the goggles real quick. I guess he might have chickened out or something. I don't know why.
I love that boy. I love that boy.
He is something.
Did you see Lily Jane?
I did. She had a great first sleepover. She had so much fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they stayed up way too late. The mom said that she was still awake at midnight. So
she better be taking a nap.
Well,
Don't they have gymnastics this afternoon?
They do, yeah. And her little friend wanted to stay the night tonight. I said, well, we might have to wait till the next night.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
She's probably a little tired.
Mm-hmm. Grouchy. Oh,
Grouchy,
my goodness.
maybe a little bit. Who knows?
Yep. That's right. So,
well, would you like to pray for us?
I would.
Welcome to Mom and Me Talk Jesus, the podcast where me and my mom talk about, well, everything. We've been together 31 years and counting and have shared a lot of secrets along the way. Most of all, we share Jesus. Our prayer is to share with you how He walks with us through the good, the bad, and the ugly of life. I'm Callie Lee, and she's Gina Butler, and together, we talk Jesus.
Father, in Jesus' name, thank you for today and for waking us up and giving us a reason and a purpose, which is to honor and glorify you in everything that we do. Pray that we wouldn't take that lightly and that today we would be Jesus with skin on and whoever we meet. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Jesus with skin on. Old Ken.
So, last night when we were doing the Bible study, I saw you writing.
I just wrote a few things down.
And it makes me nervous every time.
Well, and it's not even anything big.
Because I'm like, oh, Lord, she's going to ask me about that tomorrow on the podcast. I know
and I'm not going to know what the answer
And I'm not going to know the answer.
Okay, well, I didn't look up this answer beforehand. Are there any other stories about Caleb besides the Caleb that we studied? The story of him being the spy. Do you know of any other ones?
The story of him being the spy, the story of him taking the land.
That's it.
That's it.
But the Bible doesn't skip the 40 years in the wilderness.
Absolutely not. No.
We just skipped it.
We skipped it.
But he's not mentioned in those 40 years in the stories.
I don't think so. No. No.
It's just Moses and Joshua and all of them.
Yeah. See, now you're going to make me go and look it up.
No, I was just curious.
You know, which that would take too long for me to look it up. But yeah, no.
I just couldn't think of any off the top of my head if there were any other stories of Caleb. Just those two where he
just those
is
two
the spy
where he's the spy,
40 years old and then where
after
he takes
they come
the land.
in across the Jordan and he goes to Joshua, he said, hey, remember with me and you?
I'm just as vigorous at 80 years old.
85
years old.
I am just as vigorous today as the day I was when Moses sent me out. That just blows my mind. And I'm like, he was. And the fact, the piece I loved the best was that he knew God would not save him all those 40 years for him to get killed by giants.
No.
He knew.
Yeah.
This is fixing to be my land.
Uh-huh.
my people are fixing to get to live right here.
Yeah. Kind of like David knew that God wouldn't save him from the lions and everything else that he fought to then kill him with a giant.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
It was like he had the field trip 1 to be able to go into the stronger one on the field trip 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
and technically, and I probably shouldn't even bring this up because I'm not sure I can prove all this off the top of my head.
Let's see how good it is.
Well, it says he was a Kenizzite, which is really a Gentile. So I don't know how. I'd have to go back and look all that up. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just a really cool story. He's just and you know, we always couple him with Joshua, of course,
because they were the 2 spies.
Yes, they were the 2 spies, and for the most part, my whole life, I've never really looked at Caleb after the whole spy story because he just kind of gets skipped over because then you go to Joshua, you know, being in charge in the Battle of Jericho and all that kind of stuff, and you just skip over the whole Caleb piece. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting to me. I tell you where that started was with Jaron and the Bible study that he does with the students. They were doing a series called Loser for the Lord. And with that, he asked me to come teach one night. And so I said, well, tell me, you know, kind of give me an idea of what y'all are doing. And so he told me some different things. And he said, I've thought about Caleb. And I was like, why Caleb? So,
why is he a loser?
And so I got to looking at it. Well, of the 12 spies, the bottom 10% were the 2 that said God can do it.
Oh, like they weren't as strong as the other 10.
Well, I went from it at this angle. We always honor the top 10%. Mm-hmm. When we graduate, because these are students, right? Yeah. So graduate high school, it's the top 10%. Caleb and Joshua were in the bottom 10%. They were the only 2 that said, we can do this. The rest of them were like, no. Mm-hmm. And everybody was listening to the rest of them. They were not listening to the bottom 10%. Mm-hmm. And so they were the losers. Yeah. They were the losers because they were fixing to get thrown in the pit and stoned. I mean, everybody was, you know, ready to get rid of them.
And then the glory of the Lord shows up.
And then the glory of the Lord shows up. And so they were the losers, and that was the whole catch there, was that Caleb was a loser for the Lord. Mm-hmm. And being a loser for the Lord is not a bad thing. No. Because he is always going to win. Yeah. He is always going to win. And so that was the way we taught it. But then when we started the series, this fun series for the summer, and I found that 250 reference, and it said Caleb, I was like, oh, well, there's my first story right there, you know. But then the Lord did this whole field trip the last 4 weeks, and it kind of gave it a different spin.
It did. That's why when you said it, that this is the story you used for Jaron and them, I was like, this is interesting. I don't really see how
completely different spin.
It was completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I guess we can tell them all about that. I mean, we don't have to give them all the gory details, but we didn't say much on the online Bible story about what we've been going through with it. But Puff fell and broke her arm, which Puff is my mom's mom, if anybody's wondering. Mm-hmm. Throughout all of it, a lot of people thought that Puff was my mom.
No, she's my mom. Yeah.
And a lot of people just mixed us together. We just kind of came the same person. But she fell and broke her arm at the birthday party. And I was thinking this morning about how all the different times that God was there and with us throughout the moment. And like even starting with the time that she fell, we were about 15 minutes away from the birthday party, me and Todd and the kids. And it was at a 1-year-old birthday party. Well, who goes to 1-year-old birthday parties? All the little kids, and all their dads are strong and able to help her. And so we had 3 different really, healthy guys to be able to help her get up and get into the car. If she would have fallen at her house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
It would have just been me and Todd. I felt like that was one of the moments.
Yeah, that would have been impossible.
Yeah. And so, and really she, she was pretty embarrassed that she fell, but everybody there was super kind and nice to get her in the car. And then so we go to take her to the ER, and originally we were like, okay, we'll just take the kids with us. But we drive through the town that my in-laws live in.
Best in-laws on the planet.
And so Todd was like, let me just call my parents. So the kids go with them and stay with them for the day while we go to the ER with Puff. It was just a lot of different moments throughout the whole process where God showed grace to us and kindness to us. And I was trying to explain it to one of my friends about it because in the thick of it,
you don't see that.
You don't. And also the other thing I was trying to explain to her was like the emotions that are going, you just kind of feel like you're on the edge all the time. And I was telling her, like, me and you aren't very emotional. You a lot less than me, but
oh yeah.
As far as like crying and stuff like that.
No.
We don't really do that very much.
I ain't gonna cry in no movie.
No.
Might mess up my makeup. Because I don't wear waterproof mascara.
She's so vain. No, we're just not super emotional. We laugh a lot, but we don't cry a lot.
Back, no.
And I noticed that when I was there with Puff at the hospital, that because my emotions were so high, that there would be times when someone would be kind to me, and like I could tell it was from the Lord, and they were just showing kindness or goodness to Puff, and my eyes would start to tear up, and I would get. Like, I wouldn't start bawling and squalling right then, but like it was just everything was so much more raw, I guess you would say, when you're in that
because
kind
you
of
don't
situation.
have time to process and go, okay, I got to get this, I got to calm myself. I mean, you're just moment by moment by moment by moment, and the whole time that's going on, I'm here.
No, you weren't. You were in Mississippi.
No,
no, you were here.
I
That's
was
right.
here.
Yeah.
Because Dad had the sciatic nerve issues, and he could not walk. He could not do anything, and it was bad. I mean, I love him, but he'll tell you, thanks for putting up with all my whining. I mean, that's what he told me 2 weeks later. He was
I mean, he was in a lot of pain too, and Puff was in a lot of pain.
Yes.
And it stretched Mom and I, and it kind of changed bits of our relationship because it was, we've been able to kind of tag team a lot of stuff. But in this situation, we had to separate. We had to say, okay, you go with Dad and I'll go with Puff. So I take her to we'll rewind. I'll take her to the ER on Saturday. We get her all situated. We find out it's completely broken. She's in so much pain. They give her the pain medicine, and they're like, okay, we'll keep her overnight for 3 days, and then she can go to the inpatient rehab so she can get stronger and learn how to, operate. Because she's fully independent before this happens. So I leave on Saturday night. And that's the plan, right?
That's the plan.
Go to inpatient rehab in Mount Pleasant. She was on the med-surg floor, which was the 4th floor in Mount Pleasant. And the inpatient rehab was only on the 5th floor. So that's all I had to, explain to her. You're just going up 1 floor just for a few days to get stronger and you'll be fine. Well, then Monday comes. And Puff calls Mom, and she's like, they're sending me to the nursing home in Hugh Springs, and blah, blah, blah. And
I mean, we don't have time on this podcast to go through that whole thing.
But it was so far from where we were on Saturday night.
It was the biggest mess. And
we're 2 hours away.
And we're 2 hours away. And bless it, Mom is a lightweight when it comes to pain.
That's right. She was on hydrocodone when she signed the papers saying that she would go to the nursing home.
Yeah, she's a lightweight, and so she sees things. And
that's right. She
remember that was that first
when I got there on Monday, and that was another moment of the Lord. I get there, and the social worker was in the room, actually signing the papers that say, okay, we'll go to the nursing home in Hugh Springs. And so I was able to say, oh, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to look at the inpatient rehab. That's what we want. And anyway, whenever I get there and I start talking to Puff and like asking her how the past few days have been, she said, it was just so awful. They put me in this room and I fell asleep and I woke up and there were lawn chairs all over me.
Furniture all over me.
She said they were just covered furniture, which we know they weren't, but she was
because she was on the medicine.
The medications so badly. And so anyway, I stayed the night with her. I think I stayed in the hospital with her 3.
You were there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Thursday.
Yeah. So I was there for 4 days, and the entire time we were there, we were trying to get her into this inpatient rehab. This was our plan. Like, we went into it on Saturday. This is our plan. And her insurance company was not cooperating, and they were dragging their feet, and every day was, oh, we're pending this, we're pending that. And in the meantime, she's on the med surge floor, which I don't know if you know much about healthcare, but like, that's not the floor that you go to get stronger. That's the floor where you go to just survive. Like, they're not, they're giving her medicine, they're checking her vitals, they're doing all that, but they're not like she had PT once a day for 15 minutes.
Right.
Like, they're not trying to, and she was fully independent before this, So anyway, I was there with her, and the whole time we were really praying and asking the Lord to show us what to do, because we were so out of our depth as far as like, well, we can't make this insurance company accept her into this inpatient rehab. We can't make it happen. And so I was looking back at my pictures earlier, and one of the days, the day that it was probably the hardest, was for me, not for you, but for me, was May the 13th. And Puff reads Streams in the Desert by L.B. Cowman.
It's a lady, actually. That book is so old.
And I found mine, because I read it every now and then. She gave it to me on my 16th birthday.
Yeah.
And she wrote this really sweet note with it. But on the May the 13th, it was the day that we were really unsure, okay, maybe this inpatient rehab isn't going to happen. What are we going to do if this doesn't happen? Because every moment was just so unknown.
It was different every hour.
And, we'd be calling this person and calling this person. But anyway, the verse for May the 13th is Romans 8:26. We know not what we should pray for as we ought. Mm-hmm. And I found a video on my phone of her reading this aloud to me. And it was so timely because, and even the day before, she writes, often God delays purposely, and the delay is just as much an answer to your prayer as is the fulfillment when it comes. Mm-hmm. Real moral fiber is developed through discipline of faith. You have made your request to God, but the answer does not come. What are you to do? Mm-hmm. And that's where when I was in the hospital with her, that's where it was, because every day it was like, oh, I'll be able to go home today because she'll get sent up to the next one.
And I'm not even anywhere on the planet at this point.
Because she's with Dad.
I'm with Shane in Mississippi.
But it was really a lesson in perspective on others, like perspective on seeing the other people and like how they're trying to do their job. And then also how knowing God's directive, like knowing for sure what he's telling you to do, mm-hmm. and then having to put that into action. Mm-hmm. Because I really felt like when I got there on Monday, I felt like the Lord was saying, like, you've got to stay with her. You cannot leave her because she's in such a bad point where she can't advocate for herself at all.
She could not advocate for herself.
And so I just really didn't feel like she could. And I felt like the Lord was leading me, like, you've got to stay with her to get her at the right place. And at the time I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just get her upstairs and we'll be good. We'll be good. Mm-hmm. Which, of course, fast forward, that's not what happened.
And let me say this, and this is something that we learned through this process. When these kinds of things happen in the lives of folks that you know and that you love and your friends and what have you, the grandmother falls and breaks her arm, and she is a lightweight on pain meds, and she cannot advocate for herself. And so someone in the family steps in. In this case, it was her granddaughter, steps in. Callie got a lot of pushback from just people that were well-meaning that said...
Oh, that was our decoration.
That went in our decoration. That said, well, you've got your own family to tend to. Somebody else needs to be taking care of this. And that put a lot of pressure on her. And I think I probably said that to her a couple of times too.
You did on this day, on May the 13th. You said to me, because I called crying because I was so upset, because you just feel so helpless when someone's in that much pain. And you said, Callie, okay, it's time. You've got to go home.
Yeah.
I just felt like the Lord was telling me, you can't leave her like this. You cannot leave her on her own. And I think it was just a good example to me of like Caleb and Joshua, when they knew what the Lord was telling them and 10 other people are saying, no, this isn't what you should do.
That's where I was going.
That, like, you have to stay, you have to keep on believing God's word. Never be moved away from it by what you see or feel. And thus you stand steady. Enlarged power and experience is developed. Like, it wasn't just outside people, saying, well, why are you missing this? Or why aren't you with your kids on this? It was also the pull, from my own family. I wanted to be with my family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then also like, well, would she be better off if I wasn't here? Or would she be, am I doing too much? Or but I will say, like, I'm someone I struggle with a lot of doubt. I struggle with a lot of indecision. But in that moment, I knew that it was from the Lord, and I knew that he was telling me to be there. And like, Todd was so supportive in that. And I don't know how many times I would let him know, like, this is the situation. I don't think I'm going to get to come home today. But I really feel like the Lord's calling me to be here. And he would support me in that and say, okay, if that's what the Lord's saying, like, let's follow his leading. And I will say, a month out, God has honored that, and he has shown me the fruits of that sacrifice. Like, I'm not saying that I was perfect in this situation. I probably made very many mistakes, but he has built the relationship with Puff way more than we had before. And he has shown how she has improved because of the things that we pushed for and because of the places that we, it was hard to get her into, but she was able to get better. And so, when we read this story about Caleb and Joshua, like, it's a story from the Bible. I think, well, it was easy for him to say no because he knew what the Lord was saying. And, you kind of have this perspective of, if it's someone else, it's easier for them to do the right thing. But after living it for myself, I'm like, yeah, I understand that it was really hard, but also, like, you just feel unmovable, I guess you would say. I felt like, and it was hard on our relationship, because for you to say, no, you need to go home, like, this relationship is the one that usually I can keep the North Star on. I can say, well.
But I was doing that because I was feeling guilty because I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And so I was like, she doesn't need to be tending this. I need to be tending this. But the Lord had her there because she knew how to navigate all of the insurance and red tape and all of that stuff that had to be done in order to get Mom where she needed to be. I didn't have the wheelhouse for that. I didn't know that. Callie used to be an insurance agent. She used to work in the insurance business. So she knew all the terminology and how it all worked. Yeah. I would have been completely lost, and she'd have had to do it anyway.
That's a good point, though. I didn't think about that, how you weren't coming from a place of, you were operating dysregulated too. Yeah, you were upset that I was upset, and you felt guilty that you couldn't be there, and so you were offering advice that the reason why it wasn't good was because it didn't come from the Lord to begin with.
No, I'm just trying to get you better. I mean, y'all, I've got her FaceTiming on the phone. She's squalling on the front porch of the hospital.
Yeah, and another moment of the Lord was so sweet. I'm sitting there crying to Mom, and I'm just out on the front steps at this point because the people on the insurance people were so rude, just so rude. But anyway, I'm crying on the front steps of Mom, and this older guy, he like parks right in front of me. He gets out and he walks in the hospital, and then I'm still on the phone. And he comes back and he stops before he gets in his truck, and he said, "Young lady, are you okay? Do you need a ride somewhere or something?" I said, "No, sir, I'm fine. I'm talking to my mom. My grandma's in the hospital. It's okay." But, you could tell he was just reaching out. And there were so many people like that. Even just like the coffee shop worker was sweet and kind. And I don't know. It was another reminder of, like, to take the scales off your eyes and look around to what other people are going through. Right. And look around to see how you might be able to give, like you said in our prayer, like Jesus was skin on to those people. Like, That guy could have just ducked his head
and kept right on going.
But the fact that he made himself a little bit uncomfortable to be able to say something to me, it meant a lot. Like, no, I wasn't going to get in the car with him or whatever, but it was nice to know that there were people that cared, even if they were a stranger, you know, because in the moment you feel like you're all on your own, you know, trying to fight this big corporation or whatever. But
so I show up on Thursday. She goes home. I spend Thursday night in the hospital, which I'm going to tell you this. The last time I spent the night in a hospital was when I birthed this kid. No, I take that back.
You stayed the night with Dad a few times, didn't you?
No. When I had the surgery on my neck. That's the last time I spent the night in the hospital.
She had a goiter.
I do not spend the night in hospitals. All them times Shane had surgery back 6 years ago now.
You would leave at like 2 in the morning.
I would leave at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, drive back to wherever we were living, and spend the night in my house, and then get up and go back, because I do not spend the night in the hospital. You can't sleep, okay? Because people keep coming in there checking the vitals and all that stuff. And so I spent the night in the hospital, which was just awful. I'm just... From a selfish standpoint, it was horrible. This is not my gift. Some people, it's their gift.
Well,
some people can do that.
I will say this. The 2 nights I stayed, thankfully, Ryan and Jaron had brought a cot for me to sleep in. And so I slept in a little cot next to the bed. And it really wasn't, I mean, it was terrible at moments because I thought Puff was dying a few times because she has sleep apnea so bad.
And she talks in her sleep. But I didn't have the cot.
No, she just had sleep on a chair.
And I had a red, white, and blue American flag blanket. That's what I had. But anyway, so I spend the night. She goes home, and we are moving her to Tyler, to a facility here in Tyler for a stay to get stronger, to go to an inpatient rehab.
Yeah, because the insurance ended up denying the inpatient rehab, saying she wasn't strong enough. And so she had to have a stay at a skilled nursing facility to then maybe qualify for
so we do that.
Rehab.
So we get her there, and we get her situated, and she's not real pleased, and neither are we, but whatever, we have to do this. And she calls me at like 8 o'clock that night. I can't do this. You got to come get me.
We're at a softball game.
Yeah, you got to take me home. Well, what does the daughter do?
She's like, okay, I'll take her home.
I was like, all right.
And I told Todd, I was like, this is probably one of the first times that we butted heads like that, because Mom was like, no, this is my mom. I'm going to take her home. And I'm saying, no, Mom, we can't take her home. We can't take care of her at home. And so
we had a moment there in the parking lot, and she won. And,
I didn't win.
She won.
I just said, let's just take it slow.
Shane was in on that too. Of course, he's still sciaticing over there.
That's right. He can't even walk.
He can't walk. And so he's still dealing with that. Anyway, that began the process of tag teaming that whole 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks, wasn't it? It was a whole 2 weeks of being in the facility, completely out of our comfort zone, completely unlike anything we really wanted to do with
Mom.
I
mean, in a perfect world, she would have gone straight to the inpatient. But looking back, I understand why she didn't, because she wasn't strong enough. After laying in a hospital bed for 5 days, she really had no strength to be able to do what she had been doing. And in a perfect world, like, you know, it would have been a facility that was on the side of a mountain with, you know, like you dream of all those kind of things. And that's not what it's like. And also, it wasn't, you know, we didn't know what to expect, but it's not a place where you could go and just like leave someone. You know, she still needed social care. She still needed dressing and helping. And yes, there were people there to help her with certain things, but also that was an hour wait anytime she pushed her button.
Yeah, because there's more than one person in there. She's not the only person there.
Yeah. And that was another lesson in like pride, I guess, of, okay, well, if you really do need help, will you accept the help if it comes later? Or will you just try to do something on your own because it's not immediate? And that was a lesson to us as well. Like for you and I, if we couldn't get it done right then, you know, we like to have
Yeah.
Not an easy solution, but an
quick one.
immediate solution,
Yeah,
right?
Immediate solution. So that was where the 10 days comes in. You got to listen to last night's Bible study, where the 10 days comes in, and we figured out that in 10 days she was going to get to go on June 1st to the new place. And so we set up the thing and we marked it off, and that helped to have an end goal. To know that there was a goal, and that occurred. Cal and I tag teamed that whole 2 weeks. She would take the morning shift, I would take the evening shift, and there were people that said you shouldn't have to go up there every day, you should not have to be there every day. Well, that's my mom. That's my mom.
And I mean, the moments when there wasn't ever a moment that like I spent time with her and I regretted it.
Right.
There's been several moments that I've sat on my phone on the couch and I've regretted that time.
Right.
But the time that I was with Pup, and also like, I will say the timing was amazing. Like there was one day that I didn't have childcare for the kids because they were with me when I was staying with her in the hospital. And I didn't have childcare, and I couldn't get them somewhere because I wanted to be there at the morning shift at 7, and I couldn't get them anywhere. And so I took them to April's. And when I came back to the hospital, I got there at like 8:15, and I walked past the coffee place, and I was like, man, I'm hungry. No, I'll go. No. I walked by the coffee place, had full plans to stop and get breakfast, but they were closed. And they weren't supposed to be closed. They were closed for an event. And so I go straight up to the room, and guess who's in the room when I walk in? The doctor. And I get to talk directly to the doctor. So then like 2 hours later, I go down to get my breakfast, and the lady was like, I saw you walk by earlier. I'm sorry, we had to be closed because they were having an event over here. I was like, actually, that was the Lord, because I needed to talk to this doctor and get it straight, It was just...
There were so many, the whole
little stories.
So many little stories, and when we finally got to the rehab place in Tyler here, it was just, her attitude has been awesome. She's been so thrilled. She's going to go home without oxygen, and I mean that would not have happened if we'd had gotten what we wanted in the first place.
And I feel like that's the key that I take away from this, is that, a lot of times if I would get what I want the first time, I would miss out on all the other blessings that the Lord had. No, it wasn't easy. No, I don't want to necessarily go back and live those times. No. But she's so much better off, and we're so much better off, and we, have so much more experience of God being there with us. And I mean, it's not something that you can buy. You can't buy a directive from the Lord, and a feeling that He is guiding your steps, and you can't manufacture it, and you can't manufacture family time, and you can't manufacture truth and love and sacrifice. It all has to happen because of a situation.
Because of experience, that's right. And I thought about this last night when we were talking about, I didn't call you to be comfortable. Because there were so many times that I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable mainly because of the unknown. Not knowing how long we were going to be in the transition period. Not knowing if Mom was going to do, if she was going to actually improve with the therapy, with the different stuff. Not knowing what was going to happen, was she going to go home with her arm in a sling? I mean, would she be able to walk? I mean, just all kinds of the unknown. And that was the main reason for the being uncomfortable, because you don't know. And so the Lord continually, I mean, it was moment by moment. It was not wake up in the morning, have your 15-minute quiet time, and everything's great, and you go about the day. it would change moment by moment.
Well, and it was a really good example of what it means to be kingdom minded and what it means to look for the Spirit's leading, quote unquote, in the field of, can I be a Christian if I can't stop and pray for 15 minutes every morning?
You're walking by faith.
Yeah. Can I really follow him?
Faith.
Yeah.
He knows the direction. I can only go where he tells me to go. I can only do what he tells me to do. There were so many gifts along the way, and so many things that he revealed to us, to her, to me, to our family, about what he wants from us as a believer, as a follower of him. And it would take many podcasts to tell all that.
Well, and I think it was a lesson to lean on those times, to dwell on the moments when he is giving you the truth and he is showing you grace, and to dwell on that and not dwell on the hard times.
Yes.
Sometimes it was tempting to be like, well, this was awful, this was awful, this was awful. But instead, there were several times, even the night that Jaron and Ryan brought the cot, Ryan and I went out and we had Taco Bell in the car, and we got to talk for 45 minutes. We don't live near each other. We don't call and talk on the phone, but we got to have real conversations about things that are going on in our lives. And she got to speak truth into my life, and I got to speak truth into her life. And I just kind of clung to those little interactions of God right there loving on me through other people, and it was also a lesson on pride of sometimes you have to ask for help, and sometimes that person may or not be able to help you, or sometimes, they can, or they can only help in this way.
And in our society, we're Americans, right? We're celebrating our independence. Hello. That's a big word. Our independence. And as a result, I think one of the things that makes an American is their independence. And so we go, we don't need anybody's help. We can do it on our own, all these kinds of things. And there are times that you can't.
Yeah, you were so tempted that day when I was calling you crying. I know that you were thinking, well, I'll fix this. This is just not gonna, I'm not gonna let my daughter go through this. I will just show up and fix this and scorched earth it all. And it's not a possibility. No. Just like the night that she had to move into the facility, Mom was like, well, she doesn't want to stay here. I'm going to take her. And I'm like, Mom, it's just not it's not a choice that we have. We have to live through this uncomfortable moment because we're talking about survival here,
Yeah.
And
the 40 years that Caleb had to endure the suffering. We don't know what kind of suffering he went through. We know that they wandered another 40 years in the wilderness. I've often wondered, is it are they going in circles? Are they going well, Lord, we've seen that tree before.
Yeah.
What is it? What did that look like? But he knew that was no fault of his own. He had followed all of God's directives. He had done exactly what Moses asked him to do, and he had given the report that God had told him to give. He had pled with the people and told them, this is the truth. We can trust the Lord, and they refused to listen. And so God said, as a result, you guys are going to wander for 40 years. And Caleb still had to go through that 40 years of wandering, even though it was not his fault.
Yeah.
And in our world, we believe that there's a fault to everything. There's a blame for everything. And so it's got to be somebody's fault,
Yeah. And that was a temptation, too, in our situation. Well, we'll just blame the insurance, or we'll just blame this, or we'll blame that. And I even noticed, if I allowed myself to go down that route of the cause and effect, it changed my response. There would be times where maybe Puff wouldn't cooperate. She wouldn't do something that, the doctor was asking her to do. And so she'd be in a bad situation. And it was tempting to be like, well, you put yourself in there. Maybe next time you'll listen and do this, this, and this. But the Lord was so gracious to me and so good to me to remind me that it doesn't matter how someone gets into the situation. If you're there and you can help them, then you help them. And I was talking to a friend yesterday about our kids, and she's a caretaker as well. And she was like, sometimes he's mad because he's in pain. And so I want to help him. But then sometimes he's just mad. And I was like, I think the response is the same. I think both ways he's unregulated and you have to offer the help. I'm not saying like your kid's throwing a fit in the grocery store and you just let him act crazy. But I'm saying that this idea that we need to be the judge of why someone's in a certain situation and then be able to offer our help is inaccurate to the way that Christ teaches us.
Inaccurate, yes.
How many people that Jesus see and heal, and the man may or may not have caused the own problem,
Yeah. That's one of the things we're talking about at this camp next week is the blame game. Mm-hmm. That you're always, and the blame game is a result of fear of failure. Mm-hmm. You don't want to fail. And when someone fails, it looks bad on you. And that comes into play all the time. Mm-hmm. Even in this situation. If mom didn't do what the doctor told her to do and she failed, we took it upon ourselves as it looked bad on us because she is our mom or our grandma or whatever, and she didn't do what the doctor said to do, so she failed, and so therefore we're bad and we're not worthy because of her failure. Well, that's a lie from the enemy. That's a complete lie.
Yeah.
Complete total
You're
lie.
right. And I mean, she's a different personality. Like, she loves to interact with everybody and she says funny things all the time. And it got to where, I would just laugh along with her, and I could see sometimes when, her kids would come, you guys would be somewhat embarrassed by some of the things she said.
Oh, yeah, because she has no filter.
But also in that moment, it's like those people understand. And
Absolutely.
Sometimes I would apologize to them and be like, sorry. But if I tried to like fight that with negativity and stuff, it just made it a bad environment for everything, And so I would just try to be kind to the nurses. And if she said something that maybe might hurt their feelings, I would go back and be like, I'm sorry she said that. They were always fine with it,
So one time when we were I don't remember, I think we were in the facility and Callie Jamisa had brought us all cupcakes, had brought us some of her wonderful cupcakes with the wonderful icing. And Callie gave a bunch of them away to the staff. Well, it just killed Lillian's soul. She was devastated. And she said to me the next day when I said something about getting a treat for Puff, she said, well, don't take all the extras in there because Mama will give them all away. And
we still had 4 left over, by the way.
She said, we won't have any. I just thought that was so funny.
And Puff she said, I don't understand how you're just able to remember everybody's names and you just speak to everybody. And I was like, well, because every time I see them, I say hello and ask them how they're doing, And I think those were the moments that made it easier for me to come into those places that were uncomfortable because I looked forward to that. I enjoy meeting new people and that kind of thing. And also, I was thinking about this morning, like as a stay-at-home mom, I talk to 3 people, 4 people, like I don't talk to people every day. I don't get to interact, so that was something I enjoyed. I liked meeting all the new people and stuff. And, so I don't know, there were a lot of opportunities for growth. There was a lot of opportunities for us to step on each other's toes and to hurt each other's feelings. And I think
it was definitely a lesson for me to be very careful and just really be in tune to what God wanted me to do. Mm-hmm. To just really,
because your flesh wanted to operate.
Your flesh wanted to operate. You wanted to just go scorched earth many times throughout this whole process, not because of the people per se, but just a procedure of trying to
and like if somebody missed, because one of the things we struggled with was like her medications and getting her medications right and getting them administered right. Well, there's 7 different people giving her medicine on
Yeah.
And so if somebody missed it or if she was hurting because of this, like it was so tempting to be like, this is your fault. You need to fix this,
But I personally found myself every day going, okay, Lord, it's me and you. Here we go. You keep my mouth shut. You lead me. You let me be Jesus with skin on. Show me, reveal yourself to me. And, that's how we learn. I mean, when things are all roses and unicorns and rainbows, we don't learn. No, we just roll through life. But when things are hard and there's trials going on and there's suffering going on, that's when you learn. Mm-hmm. That's when this stuff starts sticking.
Yeah.
And starts staying in your heart.
I caught myself this morning being like, well, I haven't had time to journal about all of it, so I'm not going to be able to share much. And then I was like, wait a minute. The Lord, He was right there with you in it the entire time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you have it written down or not. Mm-hmm. You experienced it.
Yeah.
And you know who He was, and you got to see His revelation time and time again, Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the unknown moments, it was hard. It was unsettling, to not know what to do the very next step. But that poem that lady wrote on that was in the Streams in the Desert, May the 13th. I don't think I should read it because I don't think I would do it good justice, but it was so perfect for that moment because it talks about how you want this and you're asking the Lord for deliverance from this, and then at the end you look back and see where He was at.
Where He was at the whole time.
And that He was there holding your hand and the little reminders of who He is and what you can take from that and how you can move forward. Because, this won't be the last time that we have a hard time.
No, absolutely not.
This won't be the last time that, you need to care for someone or someone that you love is hurting, or, that we disagree on something.
Right. Because we're human.
Yeah.
We're human.
And so we get to take the lessons that we learned before and move forward and keep learning.
That's right.
But anyway, so our next session is July the 13th. And we are doing Ezra 250.
Yeah. And boy, I can't wait to see what the Lord shows me about that. That's going to be interesting.
Can you even find Ezra in your Bible?
Let's see. Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job. So it's back this way. Let me flip through here. Ezra. There we go. It's going to have something to do with rebuilding the wall.
Oh.
The verse says, this is going to be good. This is the people who have returned, the exiles who returned from being held captive by Nebuchadnezzar.
The guy who picked the big statue of himself.
Yeah. The sons of Asna, the sons of Munim, and the sons of Nephiism.
Okay, that's our verse.
That's our verse.
We're going to study those three groups
We're going to
of people.
study the return of the exiles is what we'll study.
From Babylon.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be a whole... I've never done anything like that.
We did a we did a Daniel study with Beth Moore when I was a kid.
Yeah, years ago. Yeah.
But that's really the only time I remember studying Babylon.
Yep.
Anyway. We did a Daniel study for the online.
Well, we talked about Daniel's prayer.
That's what it was, yeah.
Daniel's
prayer. For the time of prayer.
So anyway, that's the verse. That's the 250. So we'll see what the Lord does with that. It'll be fun. I'm excited.
No telling. We're just along for the ride every day.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, so that's our story, and we're sticking to it. And that's the backstory to Caleb, Session 1, Summer 250. Tune in and watch it. Is it on YouTube yet? No.
We just had it last night. What do you mean?
She hadn't had time.
It will be on YouTube by the time this airs.
Okay, yeah. She had to sleep last night. That's true.
What? Sleep is for the dead.
Anyway, but if you don't know what we're talking about, you got to go back and watch that Bible study to get caught up on everything to understand.
And let us know what you think about Ezra 250 if you have any opinions of the sons of.
I mean, Luke 250 is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Because it's married.
Yeah.
This is going to be the fun one right here. Well, I can't wait to see what God reveals to me about that one. So anyway, we love you guys and thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Bye. Bye.